Hello, Gen X. Welcome back. Do me a favor. Hang in there with me on this one. I have a true story at the end. This video is for those of you who think to themselves, I can't do this. My intention here is not to challenge you, but rather to offer you a potentially valuable insight for your consideration. Most of us don't have a value problem. We have a thought problem. And if that sounds strong, it's supposed to. Because if you can't control what you think, you can't be transformed. In fact, our thoughts are one of the very few things in life we can control. Most people believe they are thinking. They're not. They're reacting. They're reacting to circumstances. They're reacting to emotions, to whatever thoughts show up next. And they never stop to ask a very simple question. Is this thought even true? Because here's the part nobody talks about. Not every thought you have deserves your agreement. Many thoughts are fear. Some are insecurity, and some are old patterns that have been running for years. And if you don't examine them, you will obey them. There's a scripture that says, take every thought captive. Not some of them, every thought. That means your mind was never meant to run unchecked. It was meant to be governed. Because your thoughts are not neutral. They are directional. They are constantly moving you towards something or away from something. So let me make this practical. Everything in your work life is built in 3 layers. Your mindset, your tool set, and your skill set. Most people spend their time trying to upgrade their skills. Some people invest in tools. Almost nobody tries to fix their mindset. But your mindset determines how you see, and how you see determines what you do. So if your thinking is off, it doesn't matter how skilled you are or what tools you have, you will still produce the wrong result because everything flows from the top layer. Mindset first. Then your thoughts become beliefs. Your beliefs shape your decisions. Your decisions create your actions. And your actions produce your results. So if your results are off, you don't start with your actions. You go back to your thinking because you cannot consistently act in a way that contradicts what you believe. Let that sink in. You cannot act consistently in a way that contradicts your beliefs. And you cannot believe something new if you're still thinking the same old thoughts. That's why so many people feel stuck. They're trying to change their life without changing the way they think. But transformation does not start on the outside. It starts in the mind. You have to begin asking, where did this thought come from? Is it true? And if it's not, why am I still agreeing with it? Because the moment you stopped agreeing with it, the wrong thought, you break its power. And now you have a choice. You can replace it with something true, with something aligned, with something that actually moves you forward. And once that starts happening, everything begins to change. Not overnight, but predictably. Because you're no longer reacting. You are directing. So here's the real question. Are you thinking your thoughts or are your thoughts thinking you? Because the answer to that question is shaping your entire life right now. Now, before I sign off, let me leave you with something to think about. For a long time, people believed they understood how the world worked. Aristotle observed that everything fell to the earth. He concluded because it was because objects were drawn to it by their nature. And that explanation stood for 2,500 years. Then Newton came along and said, no, this is called gravity. And later Einstein was like, well, it's general relativity. So here's the point. What people were certain about, sometimes for decades and hundreds of years, they were completely wrong or incomplete. And the same is true for all of us. We should never assume that we know all there is to know, because the way you currently see things may not be the way they actually are. And if that's true, then the thoughts you've been agreeing with might not be true either. So before you write yourself off, before you decide what's possible for your life, take a closer look at your thinking, because if your thoughts can change, your life can too. If this resonated with you, please subscribe. If it challenged you, even better. And if you're starting to realize that your thinking might be the thing that needs to change, then this series is for you. As always, I'm rooting for you. Be blessed by the best. I'll see you in the next video.